Giannis Antetokounmpo is primed to win his second straight MVP as well as just being crowned the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year. An unstoppable force in transition, the Miami Heat will have to devise a game plan that keeps Giannis out of the paint and force him to see nothing but bodies in front of him. When starting to devise a defensive game plan against Giannis, I'll hand it over to my man Stan Van Gundy.
We just form a wall!
That is such a great clip to describe transition defense as well. My name is Coach Gibson Pyper. You can follow me on Twitter at halfcourthoops. If you enjoy this breakdown, please feel free to like and subscribe. Now, in order to understand the reasons why we are going to set up this specific game plan, we must first understand how Giannis' offensive game operates and some of his strengths and weaknesses. When I go into scouting a report for a player, that type of in-depth research will take weeks for me to assemble properly with all of the stats, tendencies, watching all the proper film, and all my note-taking. This is an example of my work so far breaking down Ja Morant's stats that I've spent just 3 to 4 days compiling in my preliminary analysis. The very first thing that anyone would note about Giannis is his ability to attack in transition. Overall, 27% of his offense comes in transition, leading the NBA in transition possessions at 463. I'm not going to go into too much detail since I broke down transition defense in the Raptors and Celtics preview if you want to check that out there, but the biggest key to stopping Giannis in transition is to load to the ball and shrink the floor. Loading to the ball is simply getting 3 or more players in good defensive position, with 1 player stopping the ball and 2 or more in help positions to prevent any drives. Shrinking the floor is helping on any drive and showing your body and hands to prevent any attacks and make it appear as if there is no advantage and either force them to play in the half court or give the ball up. Using data from Clean the Glass, we can see that Giannis' usage has increased every single year, as well as being one of the best distributors in the game with an assist percentage of 33%. Joining the ranks of incredible playmakers like Jokic, LeBron, Harden, and Luka. Combined with an increased workload, his turnover percentage is also down compared to last year, taking care of the ball more and giving his team more chances to score. Looking at where Giannis likes to shoot can help us build a defensive game plan, as we see the further he gets away from the rim, the less likely it is he will attempt a shot from deep. Only 20% of his shots coming from 3, 23% coming from mid-range, and 57% coming at the rim. Taking note of this, the Heat have to make him beat them from outside. Sagging off and allowing Giannis to shoot as much as he wants from 3 and from mid-range will be the Heat's initial game plan, and it should remind you of the treatment the Spurs gave LeBron in the 2014 finals by daring him to shoot, sagging off and clogging the lane. Giannis shoots an incredible 74% at the rim, but only 38% from mid-range and shooting 31% from 3. If I'm the Heat, I'm going to let Giannis shoot whenever he feels like it by going under, switching, helping on drives, and basically forcing him away from the paint as much as possible. Now, the downside for this sagging defense, on the ball in particular, is it now allows clear vision for Giannis to be a playmaker, which is something he is absolutely willing to do. Ultimately, a lot of his playmaking comes from drawing the defense and kicking out to shooters for open shots, so limiting the downhill drives by sagging and allowing Giannis to shoot was going to be key. When defending him, I would throw as many bodies at him as possible, and the Heat had success defending Giannis with Bam, Jones Jr., Iguodala, and Crowder before this season, with their preference to not start Bam on him. In the playoffs, it'll be interesting to see who starts off guarding him, but the Heat will switch like for like when Bam and Crowder are in a ball screen or handoff situation. In my opinion, the best option when it matters the most, it comes to Bam guarding Giannis. He has a length to disrupt passing angles, quickness to try and slow him down, and strength to handle him in the post. Now let me be clear, Giannis is still going to score, he's still going to play well. When we talk about defending an MVP, you want the player who has the best chance at limiting him, and I believe that player is Bam Adebayo. The Bucks have a couple different ball screen variations to use Giannis in, and defending these will be key for the Heat. First, they will use Giannis as a ball screener, especially when they go Giannis at the 5. I would treat this as a typical ball screen coverage, which is normally drop coverage from the Heat, and try and take away Giannis as the roll man, which he is very good at as a finisher. Now when Giannis is handling the ball, they will use multiple players to set a ball screen for him, using guards and Lopez to try and get Giannis downhill. Giannis is an elite ball screen scorer, ranking just behind Damian Lillard and just above Kemba and Chris Paul, so defending the ball screen will be key. The Heat have the personnel to switch up ball screen coverages, and depending on who is setting the screen, they will guard it differently. When Bam is guarding the ball screen, they will typically drop him and have him in the paint for rim protection. But they also have the ability to switch him out and create a one-on-one isolation situation because Bam is a pretty good one-on-one defender versus pretty much anybody in the NBA. When Olynyk is defending the ball screen, he will jump out and trap or aggressively hedge, forcing the handler to retreat or make tougher decisions. When the Bucks use guards to set ball screens, it's an extremely common action that they run in their offense. They try and create advantages downhill for Giannis. The Heat should always go under the screen and have the guard hedge and stunt at Giannis to slow him down. The issue with guarding it like this is the quick flip that the Bucks like to get the guards shooting open threes like Korver. If I'm the Heat, I'm probably going to try this and I'll throw multiple actions at him throughout the game. Switching, trapping, drop, hedge, going under. I'm always trying to keep Giannis, trying to solve these problems and focusing on what the defense is trying to do and get him to overthink things. The last area I want to talk about defending is the post-up. If there's one place Giannis is weaker in, it is post-up scoring. For reference, when I say weaker, we are talking about a player who's ranking top 30 in the efficiency in post scoring in the league, proving the point we are trying to limit his impact, and his post-up scoring is a place where the Heat may try to guard single with Bam or maybe even Iguodala. In general, NBA teams don't trap the post a ton. The number one post-up team, the Toronto Raptors, in trapping only trapped 2.3% of the time. Now, while in general that number jumps up in the playoffs when teams are attacking certain areas or mitigating certain weaknesses, the Heat did a great job at giving Giannis different looks in the regular season, and I would keep that up during the playoff series. Trapping the post, stunting at Giannis, strong side digs, shrinking the floor we talked about will be keys to limiting his post scoring and make Giannis play out of the paint. One key thing I noticed the Heat did when defending the go-to set the Bucks run, especially for a Giannis post-up, their cross screen set, is that they would have the player defending the cross screen, who is normally a guard, bump Giannis or Lopez, whoever's coming off that cross screen, allowing the defender to recover for the post defense. Then they X out on the weak side, so when the cross screening guard comes off a down screen, both defenders for the Heat are in the best position and not allow the Bucks' best set to be effective as it has been. I hope this gleaned a little bit more information for you for how the Heat might defend and maybe should defend Giannis in round 2 of the NBA playoffs. I enjoyed breaking this down. I look forward to watching this series. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to like and subscribe. I look forward to doing more.